It happened so fast, kind of like a freak accident. You know, I've never seen an injury like that. Just seeing it on myself was very traumatic.
Bye week here. Xavier McKinney took a vacation, got injured. What's the story?
You know, when it happened, it was kind of like a shock, so I didn't feel it as much, but I saw it, so I knew that it was bad. What happened? Got into a Can-Am accident. Kind of just basically just flipped over, or not flipped over, but tilted over, fell on my hand. So this was about, I think, November. We were going into a bye week. I went to Cabo, Mexico. Yeah, we were on a sightseeing tour. It was nothing that was reckless. Got on that sightseeing tour, so it was kind of just like following throughout the trail. Went up like a little hill, like small little hill, made a right turn. It tilted over. I tried to, brace myself, put my hand down, and the top of the bar just smashed through my fingers. At first, when it happened, it was kind of like a shock, so I didn't feel it as much, but I saw it, so I knew that it was bad. It was a painful ride going back, and obviously being in the hospital in Mexico was definitely a different experience for me. And so I was kind of nervous because I didn't think they would let me leave without doing surgery because it was bad, so I was thinking, okay, I might need to have it now. They were like, do not let them do surgery on you there. And my fingers were like mangled, so they basically had to pull all of them straight. My hand was numb, but I actually heard like all the cracks as they were pulling, my finger straight to put it in the splint. So obviously I was in pain, all the way up until, I got back and until I got actual surgery.
Well, our first job as a team physician, when we hear about injury, get the information. Talk to a player, see what happened, get him in right away and evaluate him. I work with my colleague Bob Hotchkiss, our hand and wrist expert, and then get all the imaging studies.
The ring was the worst, the middle was next worst, and the index was the least fragmented. These are the kind of injuries that you can't necessarily make incisions, put little plates and screws in that, just because of the nature of the amount of swelling.
So Dr. Hotchkiss did the surgery, did a wonderful job as far as restoring anatomy. But the biggest issue in the recovery process is getting the motion back. Fingers and hands tend to get stiff.
Like if you put him in a cast for 3 months, the bone would heal, but then he couldn't move his fingers. But if you move faster than the bone is healed, then that alignment issue that you're trying to protect becomes compromised. So that's the balance.
And I got the surgery, I had pins in my hands. I told Doc, I'm playing this week. There's no way I'm missing this game. I'm sitting there with pins in my hands and he's kind of looking at me like crazy. They didn't really say anything. I think they were just trying to, not, break my spirit a little bit. I couldn't do anything. It was hard to shower, it was hard to eat. I couldn't really sleep at all. It was a tough period, man, because I had to still come into the building and I had to still figure out ways where I could help the team and help the defense. It's pretty much rehab all day. It was either rehab here or it was rehab at HSS.
So tell me what's going on with your hand since I saw you last.
Been able to get a little bit more movement in it. I think my ring fingers got a lot better as far as movement.
Let me see okay. And open. All right. Yeah, go. So you can squeeze as hard as you can. When we first started working together, Xavier's entire hand was really tight. So we've been working a lot on opening the span, stretching out, and making a fist. So here, once he's been warmed up and we did some soft tissue massage, now it's a little easier for him to kind of get to the motion on his own. So we're just trying to get it to stay there. His strength is coming back.
During that time period, I was in and out the hospital pretty much every other couple of days, just kind of checking up, seeing how I was doing.
You could suddenly see this toughness emerge, and that this was going to be not a barrier, but just an obstacle. And I would say easily 3 weeks into this, I wasn't worried. It was just a question when we were going to get that milestone to get him back on the field.
2 or 3 days before the game, Doc kind of came to the practice, watched me catch, do some things. He told Dave if I could do that, then I'm good.
McKinney is back, a hand injury, back on week 10. He's got a splint on that surgically repaired hand, as you can clearly see.
We actually were experimenting with that cast a little bit. So we're trying to figure out things to make it comfortable and still make it so where I could be able to use my hand as much as I could.
Remember, in his position, I mean, he can try and wear a club, but when he's trying to do ball things, he has to have some wrist motion.
Oh no, Ellinger keeps it. Takes a big hit from Xavier McKinney. Play fake, Ellinger to throw. Sets in the pocket, has time. Deep ball toward the corner of the end zone. Nearly intercepted by McKinney. He played that one nicely.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and on that one, looked like the club was a bit of an issue, but the receiver got his hand in there at the last second.
Good to be back, baby. We got a dub. We in the playoffs.
Dr. Hoskins and HSS, obviously I'm super grateful. Shoot, without him, I don't really know if I would even, be in this situation still. So I'm just super grateful, for him to be the one that did the work on my hand and was able to do it the right way.
Hey, we earned this. Get right today, man. We fought our ass off all season. We put ourselves to that grind. Let's go make that count today.
4th and 8 for the Minnesota 48. Takes the snap. He's back to throw. He's under pressure. Got hit as he throws. Completes it to his right. But he's short of the first down as Hawkinson. He's wrapped up. What a play by the Giants.
When I grabbed him, I was really fighting it because my left hand was the hand that I had really hooked him with. At that point, my fingers, inside the cast were I still had fractures in them. So I was pulling with all my might.
They threw in short to Hawkinson, and the Giants rallied to the ball, and Xavier McKinney makes the play of the ball game.
Come on!
It was a full circle moment for me, just knowing, what I had dealt with during the season, especially with the hand that, that I broke. Injuries and all of that stuff is a part of, not just a part of our game, but that's a part of life. Something can always happen, and you got to know how to, fight through adversity. We all gonna have adversity in our lives. It's just a matter of how you fight back and how you bounce back from it and how you respond. So for me, that was big too, was just the response that I was gonna have to a tough situation. But that definitely showed me who I was as a person. That showed, my character and how I was built.